This one comes from Danielle, the creator behind the YouTube channel Lost in Wonder, where she documents her solo journeys into the outdoors. Everything from remote overnight stays and stealth camping spots to the unexpected situations that arise when you're out there exploring nature by yourself. On November 17th, 2025, Danielle headed out for what appeared to be just another typical stealth camping night near Niagara Falls in her camper. The idea was straightforward: take in the scenery, get through the night without any trouble, and move on the following day.
Adventure. We are taking Emily. I think the last time I took her was my winter adventure, my minus 32 freezing winter adventure. And I haven't taken her out since I've got Junie, my RAV4. So today we're gonna see if she's still up to the challenge, because this girl is old. I literally just threw everything in the van, and as always, I'm going to run out of daylight. And we're going somewhere super special today, and I really would love to show you still in daylight. So let's go. My goodness, she is big. I had forgotten how big of a beast she is. You're probably asking, where are we going? I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna show you. I think it deserves to just be shown. But actually, it might be in the title. I don't know. You might already know. Who knows? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm staying. As usual, I have no plans. We're just hitting the road. Yes, we're in Niagara Falls. I just parked near the falls. However, there is a $20 flat fee for this spot. So I'm not gonna stay here because it's cold, windy, wet, miserable out there, and basically dark. So I think we're going to visit the falls tomorrow morning. Hopefully it won't be raining and we get beautiful view of the falls. But the van is a freaking disaster and I need to tidy up.
Before calling it a night, Danielle got to work tidying up her van and getting things in order. Because she was planning to move to a different stealth camping location, she wanted her space to be clean, cozy, and fully prepped before heading out. She stowed her gear, organized her setup, and got everything squared away for the evening. Once the van was sorted, she laid out her sleeping mattress and got herself settled. At that point, everything still felt completely normal, just another peaceful night out on the road exploring on her own. But after pulling into the new spot and barely getting a moment to breathe, something grabbed her attention.
There's a creepy guy looking at me. I don't know if he's like smoking cigarettes before he goes into his car, but he's just been like facing this way and literally just staring at me. And I know it's kind of weird, somebody talking by themselves, like me, or like talking to her camera. So I wonder if that's what he's looking at, but he's kind of creeping me out a little bit. Like, what is he doing? He's looking at his phone. I think it's fine. I think he's just looking at his phone. He was here before I got here. So who am I to come and start saying that he's doing creepy stuff, right? Okay.
Initially, Danielle tried to shake it off. She figured the man might just be glancing over out of curiosity or happened to notice what she was up to. But as the seconds stretched into minutes, the whole thing became impossible to dismiss. He was still there, still staring, and showed absolutely no sign of moving on. That's when Danielle's gut started sending her signals that something felt off. Being alone after dark in a secluded spot inside a camper meant she had very limited control over how things might unfold. As a solo woman on the road, that added a whole other layer of unease to the situation. She had no idea who this person was, what he was after, or whether his presence was completely innocent or something far more troubling. Someone who seems harmless on the surface can sometimes be hiding entirely different intentions, and brushing off those early warning signs can put a person in unnecessary danger. The truth is that when a woman is alone in an isolated location, especially after dark, there's a much greater need to stay alert. Someone who starts off watching from afar could potentially close that distance, try to engage in conversation, push into someone's personal space, or let things spiral in ways that are hard to anticipate. Danielle had no window into what was going through this man's head, and that uncertainty alone gave her every reason to stay on guard. Rather than hanging around to see how things played out, she didn't hesitate. Before anything had the chance to escalate, she trusted her instincts, packed everything up, and got out of there. Her choice carries a valuable lesson for anyone traveling solo. Sometimes a threat doesn't make itself obvious right away. It can start with something as subtle as someone staring a little too long or making you feel uneasy. Picking up on those early signals and removing yourself from the situation before anything happens is one of the most powerful decisions a person can make when they're out there on their own. In the middle of 2024, outdoor content creator Northwest Wind made his way back to the site of the most frightening night of his life. Just 9 months prior, he had fled those same woods in terror, driven out by shadowy figures lurking in the dark. And yet, against every rational impulse he had, he came back. What his audience had no idea about was that this second visit would turn out to be even more unsettling than the original ordeal. The forest was barely recognizable in the summer months. Thick vegetation had swallowed the once open woodland, turning it into something dense and almost impossible to navigate. As Northwest Wind forced his way through the heavy undergrowth in the sweltering afternoon heat, trying to pinpoint the exact spot he'd camped before, a sense of dread crept in almost immediately. The tent he'd abandoned there months earlier was still standing, slowly being reclaimed by the surrounding growth. But that detail wasn't what sent his pulse spiking. Right beside where he intended to bed down for the night, he found a perfectly rectangular area of flattened grass, roughly 6 feet by 6 feet. Everything surrounding it had shot up tall and overgrown, yet this particular patch looked as though it had been pressed down recently, almost like someone had pitched a tent there within the last few days. By around 8 p.m., as he sat heating up his freeze-dried meal, that creeping unease only grew stronger. Then something else caught his attention.
Someone's walking back, super thick over there. Someone's walking back behind this over here. And now they just stopped. Hi! I hear somebody talking. It's definitely humans because you can hear the 2 steps. You can clearly hear the gate, as Tony Random Adventures would call it, the gate. You can hear it. Now they're over here. They came. They're over there. I don't see that person over here anymore. I can't see that far anymore. Except this time I'm prepared like Kevin McAllister. And I am ready just in case. I have a knife. Where's my knife? I'm gonna pack my stuff up and just have it on my back. I'm not gonna go sprinting out of here like last time. I'm gonna hang tight for a little bit and just, I don't wanna do anything at the moment, but they came around there, like I said, and it sounds like they're right on the other side of this big thick stuff over here. They know I'm here. This is like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Hi! Now, as soon as I did that, they're walking right on the other side of all this. Can't see a thing, even in the broadest of daylight. Stopped again. This is ridiculous. I think they're just toying with me now. They know that I'm here. They know that I know that they're here. This O bulb was great. Uncle Canada, you can see how well lit I am. I'm gonna turn this off so I can see a little bit better just for a second. Spooky. I'm like nervous and I've got like the shakes, but I'm not like terrified like I was last time. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw somebody. It's the same person. I see you. And they were right over there where I was pointing before, and they just walked over more onto this side. Hi. No, I don't see him right now. But I hear it back over there again too. Want me to leave? I don't see him. Okay. Every sound is now spooking me. Okay. I'm gonna, knowing somebody's there. Somebody's over here for sure. With this light shining in my face, it makes it really hard to see, but. All right, I'm packing my stuff up. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry, I keep knocking. I hear them walking over there again. They came this way. Now they're right on the other side over here. That person's just standing there. Hi, I see you. You're not gonna get me. All right, this isn't fun anymore. I don't have much light left, so. I see you, hi. Hey, same guys last time. I haven't heard the person that's behind all this crap in a minute, but I can't see that person down over here, the person I saw before. Hey, how are ya? Yeah, I don't think we're gonna stay tonight, boys and girls. Ah! Okay, all right, okay. That guy was right, okay, let's go. All right, I'm out. See ya. Okay, see ya. All right, later. Okay. All right, we're out of here. Yep, we're out of here. See ya. Okay, see ya. All right, we're gone. All right, that was not cool. All right, I'm out. See ya. All right, back on the path. We're not gonna run. Fall on our face again. Okay, so I turned around and Bush's man was very, very close to me. So we're gonna vacate the premises. Not doing this again. Not doing this again. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Not again. I turned around. That other guy was only about 50 feet or so from me, just standing there. Ah, prickers, my sleeping bag, god damn it. That's gonna rip. Oh, all right. Okay, this isn't even funny. Why is this? Okay, I don't see them following me. It's still plenty of daylight, but we're getting the out of here again. All right. Okay. All right. Calm down. Find this main trail. I believe it's right here. I think. I don't know. I don't see anybody. All right. Okay. Get me the out of here. We're never coming back here. I knew it was a bad idea. All right. How do I get out of here? Okay. All right. This is up. Didn't want to come back here. All you subscribers told me to come back here. We gave it a shot. I can still see where I'm going. We're out of here. Hang on. I don't see anybody behind me. I don't see anybody. Okay. So I was looking the other way. Okay, here's the trail. Here's the trail. It didn't take that long. Didn't take that long to get here this time because I can halfway see. Which way do I gotta go? Which way do I gotta go? All right. Okay. That was again. Not coming back here again. All right. I was looking in the woods where I saw that person standing. You saw me point out where I heard all that racket. I turned around. Okay, This is not. I turned around, and that other person that I heard, literally 50 feet away from me. I could throw a football to him. Perfect spiral. All right, we're out of the woods. You. You. Off. You. Okay. We're not coming back here.
Whatever presence haunts that stretch of forest never moved on. It has been there all along, lurking among those trees, and it made absolutely certain that Northwest Wind received one unmistakable message. He was not welcome there. To this day, he has refused to disclose the exact coordinates of that campsite, and he has not set foot in those woods since. After everything that unfolded across both visits, it's hard to fault him for that decision. Certain places seem to actively reject human presence, and some questions are best left unanswered, buried in the shadows where they've always lived. Reddit user shared a trail camera photo that had apparently been passed along to them by a relative. The image captures a woman dressed in white, standing alone among the trees. A number of commenters brushed it off as cosplay or someone pulling a prank. Others, however, raised the unsettling possibility that it could be a person or something deliberately trying to draw people deeper into the forest. What makes it harder to dismiss is that the cousin lives in an extremely isolated area where a random stranger wandering around seems pretty far-fetched. Nobody can say for certain what it was, but those who saw it are convinced something strange is going on. Fog rolling through the forest picks up speed, and something terrifying steps out of it. A YouTuber who goes by D, the mind behind the channel D's Dark Adventure, headed out on a solo camping trip on January 26, 2024. She pushed deep into the thick woodlands of Ohio with only her 2 faithful dogs for company, letting them run free without leashes. What began as a quiet retreat into nature quickly spiraled into something deeply unsettling, leaving her wondering just how far into the wild she had wandered.
Oh, that is rotted. It's all rotten. Gosh.
The opening hours were pretty uneventful. Keeping tabs on 2 high-energy dogs was no small task. They bolted in every direction, driven by pure instinct, pursuing things completely invisible to her. Dee did her best to keep them nearby, with no idea of the genuine threat hiding somewhere out in those trees. As she pushed through the thick brush, she picked up on a strange noise, something so out of place it sent a real chill through her.
Girls. God bless. Sorry, guys. You girls stay close to me. See, I don't want to be going back this way either because I'm going to take them right to the swamp. Oh, there's so much fog. That's all fog. All that white. Okay. Normal forest, right? A little bit of fog, lots of fog. It's creeping up in the woods. This is creepy. Oh my God. Okay, girls, stay with me. Hold on. Will you?
Nothing she had ever heard matched it. Then a second sound followed, even harder to explain. The dogs clearly knew something wasn't right. They darted off into the trees as though pursuing an invisible presence. What made the whole thing worse was that the area the sounds were coming from was swallowed up in thick fog, while every other part of the forest stayed perfectly clear. It was as though the woods were deliberately concealing whatever lurked inside.
Okay. Yep. Oh, damn it, dude. Okay. Everything's fine. Okay. Oh my God, dude. Why? There's no fog. None. But right there, tons of fog.
Steeling herself, Dee pressed further in, talking aloud to signal she wasn't a threat, but whatever was out there showed no signs of stopping. Then her dog began making a beeline straight for the fog. Their instincts were dragging them toward it, but Dee held them back, refusing to watch them vanish into that wall of mist. And then the fog began closing in on her, moving fast, like something ripped straight from a nightmare.
I heard a bark, but I don't know if it's a dog. It sounded like a barking, like a rah, rah, rah. But not a dog. Oh, girls, stay close. Mara.
Out of it came yet another deeply unsettling sound, and then she caught sight of something shifting within it, something that didn't move the way it should.
See, there's something over there, dude. I'm not taking. Something moving. Dog, can you please for a minute? Come. Stop. There's something. There's no fucking way, dude. Dogs, 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 dogs! Woo! Yeah. What the?
Yeah.
Fuck, no! Guys, dogs, let's go!
Was it human, animal, or something that defied either category? She wasn't about to stick around for answers. Getting out safely was all that mattered. Dee wasted no time clearing out before the situation deteriorated any further. If this ordeal left her with one lasting lesson, it's that being completely alone in the wilderness has a way of sharpening fear, transforming every rustle and every flicker of shadow into something far more sinister. Chris Baird and Jasko spent the night inside cabin 666, a structure dating back to the early 1900s that sat abandoned for decades before people broke in and scorched occult symbols so deeply into the floorboards that sanding them away proved impossible. The owners simply threw carpet over them. Numerous paranormal investigation teams have attempted to last the night there. Most are gone before sunrise. Chris and Jasko walked in anyway.
It's literally called that for a reason. The place was abandoned. It was built in the early 1900s, eventually abandoned. People broke in when it was abandoned about 60 years ago, did some really weird occult stuff, markings on the ground, burned things, sacrifices that we'll talk about a little bit later. But I'll show you guys really quick. What actually ended up happening was, instead of just fixing the floor where all the sacrifice stuff was done, like right in there, they put carpet over it. They're like, you know what?
Well, let's give them some credit. They tried. They said that they tried to like buff out all the symbols and stuff that were burnt into the ground.
Yeah.
But like no matter how many times they went over it,
Yeah.
it just wouldn't come out. Like
Just wouldn't come out.
They said it was like so deep into the like ground foundation of the cabin.
Okay.
So they were just like landlord special. Pow.
It's kind of, never mind. I'm not gonna. There's nothing I can compare that to, but that's just interesting. So it's got that new car smell.
No, it smells burnt. It does.
It actually does smell like fire.
Like when we first walked in here, I was like, Chris, it smells like something's on fire. So I came over here to this thing, and I was like, is it this? No, it's not. And I was like, this is really strange because, I mean,
That's actually so exciting. Like, so exciting. I'm just so happy to be here. Yeah, guys, I'm actually just loading up Spirit Talker right now. Just focusing on Jazz's face. Just trying to hide his face, but... the fuck was that?
what the was that on your
I swear to
phone?
God, no, it was not my phone.
What the fuck was that?
There's no fucking way. Guys, that was who you are. You were looking at my phone.
Brother,
What the actual fuck is it? I was literally laughing. Okay, shut the
about to
fuck up.
retire.
Shut the fuck up. No, actually. Put my phone downstairs. Was someone in the bathroom with you or something?
Oh yes, Chris.
Did you check behind the shower curtain? You probably
Little
didn't.
church girls in the fucking bathroom.
You didn't check behind the shower curtain. Oh, okay. Actually, it does smell like eggs in here. What the fuck?
I didn't poop.
Okay, why does it smell like eggs?
You told me.
That's a cool painting. Within minutes of stepping inside, a door swung open by itself. No one was anywhere near it. The place reeked of sulfur and charred wood the second they entered. The spirit box immediately produced a single word.
Count of 3, whistle back. 1, 2, 3. What the fuck? Hello? That was a whistle. Is there somebody out here? There's something out here. Spirit box said I noticed something. It hasn't said anything else since. Kind of creepy. I don't know what I'm experiencing. There's stuff moving all around right now. Hello? Scream? What the hell was that? Something over there. It was really loud. If you can hear me, can you show yourself? Can you walk out here and tell me your name? Nothing so far on this. Hello? Who or what is out here? Very possible it could be animals, but I'm just curious, again, based on the stories and things we've heard.
Demon. Out in the woods surrounding the cabin, Chris sent one whistle into the darkness. Something answered it. Then he heard footsteps moving in a circle around him. The device said demon once more. Then again and again, a tall, shadowy figure shifted above the tree line. Chris bolted back inside.
The clear as day, yes. Can you tell me how you died, Samantha? Samantha, how did you die? They got shot? Were you shot in this house? It's actually crazy. Jess might be inside, or something is moving around downstairs. That literally just confirmed to us that Samantha was shot in this house. That's the second time I've heard about a woman being shot. Jazz just asked about it. That's actually crazy. Whatever's here in this house, can you come up here and talk to me? When I'm saying this, can you walk up the stairs and talk to me? I want to hear you. I want to feel you. I want to see you. Can you prove to me that you're actually real? Yo, hello? That's just footsteps out of the kitchen. Footsteps out there.
Can you walk up the stairs? The spirit box came back with a name, Samantha. Chris asked whether she had died inside the house. It said yes. He pressed further and asked how. It responded that they got shot. Meanwhile, Jasko had independently pulled the exact same name from his own device in a completely different room.
That's actually terrifying. I mean, you have a stick.
Donna has a purpose here.
Wait, what was the lady's name?
I don't have her name.
Was it Donna?
It's getting closer. Listen.
Chris.
Which one you go?
No, Chris. This is my dying wish. What is that
I'm
actually?
terrified. It's actually getting closer to us.
That's okay. You go on ahead.
Bro, come on.
I'll take it from here. I'm coming.
You're scaring me.
I'm alright, man.
Yeah, so.
I still hear it. That doesn't sound normal.
Bro, it's getting closer.
Hello? Come closer.
It almost, I'm not even trying to be funny, it almost sounds like a recording of like a kid screaming.
It does. It literally sounds like a...
Screechy recording of
Yeah,
a child.
like a voice recording of a child.
It's literally getting closer to us. I'm trying to sound like that guy. I just feel like, I don't know what's out here. We're in a new forest.
Makes you wonder what that woman actually saw when she was down this trail.
People have tried like interviewing her, getting her just to like speak a little bit about like what she experienced. The children crying is the only thing from the police report that's like been released and talked about.
Out in the forest surrounding the property, just after midnight, something began to cry. Not wildlife, it sounded like a child, drawing nearer, looping around them, weaving between the trees. A woman had vanished on that very trail back in 2019. The only detail her police report made public was that she had heard children crying. They stepped off the trail and headed back. This fellow was simply out by a tranquil Scottish river, camera in hand, documenting some local otters. Pretty routine nature filming, nothing out of the ordinary. But when he sat down to review what he'd captured, something caught his eye that he wasn't expecting. Back near the tree line, a faint silhouette materializes out of nowhere, then vanishes just as quickly. It's not a lens artifact or some kind of recording error either. It genuinely looks like a figure standing there, one moment, then gone without a trace the next. And what makes it even stranger is that this all happens in full daylight, which isn't exactly the typical setting for something like this. Andrew Cross was a 36-year-old explorer, content creator, and devout Christian who posted under the name Desert Drifter on YouTube. His channel, which he launched in November of 2023, was built on a genuinely compelling premise, venturing deep into the American Southwest to document history, hiding in plain sight. Andrew would push into some of the most isolated terrain in the region and return with footage of ancient cliff dwellings, forgotten canyons, petroglyphs etched into stone more than 1,000 years ago, and the crumbling remnants of civilizations that most people never knew existed. His videos weren't loud or attention-grabbing. They were measured, reflective, and deeply personal. He had a calm, almost sacred quality to his narration, treating every carved symbol and weathered wall the way a curator might treat a priceless artifact. What truly distinguished Andrew was the sincerity of his curiosity. He used Google Earth to scout locations, immersed himself in the history of indigenous cultures, and set foot in places that most people hadn't touched in generations. He guarded those sites fiercely, almost never revealing coordinates out of concern that others might cause damage. He slept on bare ground, scaled precarious rock faces, and captured everything with both a filmmaker's discipline and a scholar's attention to detail. In just over a year, that dedication earned him more than 570,000 subscribers. His wife, Evelyn, was his steadfast supporter working behind the scenes. By every account from those who knew him, Andrew was exactly the kind of person his community called a light. Positive, honest, humble, and someone whose integrity was never in question. On the evening of January 31st, 2025, Andrew was on his way home after a filming trip to Bears Ears National Monument in Utah. He pulled up to a stoplight and came to a stop. Then, without any warning, a van driven by 38-year-old Ragnar Crystal plowed into the back of his vehicle at high speed. Crystal was intoxicated at the wheel and already had a prior DUI on his record. Andrew was rushed into emergency brain surgery. He survived the operating table, but the outcome was devastating. The traumatic brain injury he suffered was severe, and he never regained consciousness. 2 days later, Evelyn appeared on Andrew's channel in a video that went on to be watched over 1.3 million times. She opened by apologizing for being uncomfortable in front of the camera, acknowledging that Andrew had always been the natural one on screen.
Everyone, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Andrew's wife, Evelyn. Most of you who have watched.
She told viewers he had been in a serious accident and was in the ICU fighting for his life.
Get on here and share and ask for your love, your prayers, and support. Friday night, Andrew was in a really bad accident, and he is currently in the intensive care unit fighting for his life.
She spoke about the faith they shared and asked anyone watching to offer a prayer or send whatever good energy they could.
And he just, this community has really, really meant a lot to him and to both of us over the last year, and I know that he would want all of you to know this, and I think many of you know that we're Christians, and so we really, really believe in the power of prayer and that God is going to work through this tragedy. And so for those of you who feel comfortable praying for him, please pray for him. For those of you who feel comfortable sending good.
Then she expressed her gratitude to everyone who had simply shown up and followed what Andrew was creating, saying it was almost incomprehensible to her that so many people wanted to be part of his journey.
Really mean the world. We are just so grateful for all of you for watching his videos. It's mind-blowing to us that you want.
A GoFundMe campaign raised close to $500,000 in just a matter of weeks. For more than a month, updates were posted through a Caring Bridge page. Andrew showed occasional small flickers of response, but the overall prognosis never shifted. He was approaching the limit of how long he could remain in the ICU, and the extent of his injuries made it clear that a life sustained entirely by machines was not something he would have chosen. On March 3rd, 2025, his family made the decision to withdraw life support. Before they did, hospital staff placed Andrew on a mobile ventilator and wheeled him through the entire ICU floor. Every staff member who could be there lined the hallway to pay their respects. Back in his room, those closest to him read scripture, prayed together, and sang. On March 4th at 10:50 in the morning, Andrew Cross died with Evelyn by his side. He was 36 years old. The most devastating part of Andrew's story is the impossible irony of it all. This was a man who routinely scaled cliff faces and camped alone in some of the harshest wilderness in North America. He accepted real physical danger every single time he headed out into the wild. None of it took him. What took Andrew Cross was sitting motionless at a red light. Crystal was charged with vehicular homicide and ultimately entered a guilty plea. The judge described Andrew as a beacon of positivity and integrity, then told Crystal directly that what happened wasn't some unavoidable accident, it was entirely foreseeable. Crystal was sentenced to 10 years in prison, followed by 3 years of parole. Evelyn took over the Desert Drifter channel, editing and uploading footage Andrew had captured, but never had the chance to finish. His community gathered around her the same way they had always gathered around him. Andrew's final filmed video, recorded just hours before the crash, follows him hiking through a canyon in search of ancient markings. He turns a corner, and there they are, small petroglyphs pressed into the rock face. His reaction is completely unguarded.
Hard work paid off. Take a look at these. Oh man, it's just so fun. I mean, they're not huge by any means. I see some up there, but it's just, it is just a good time when you find something unexpected. They are very small. I mean, I'll show you. There's my index finger to give you an idea. Definitely looks like probably bighorn sheep.
He calls it the payoff for all the hard work, and he's grinning from ear to ear. It was just another day out in the desert for Andrew Cross. Exactly the kind of day he lived for. And as it turned out, the last one he would ever have. What you're about to see is something that genuinely defies easy explanation. It comes from a YouTube channel called Welcome to the Woods UK, which, as the name implies, is dedicated to exploring the forests and woodlands scattered across Britain. The person behind the channel spends his days wild camping, practicing bushcraft, planting trail cameras, and recording whatever the wilderness throws at him. In this particular video, he heads out after a brutal storm to check on his cameras and make sure they're still in one piece. But on his way to retrieve the first one, he comes across something he wasn't prepared for.
A storm coming here the last couple of days, so I'm just coming in to check the cameras, make sure they're all still okay. We've got no big trees down and all the rest of it. I have found some really bizarre tracks today. This boot print doesn't match my boot print. It does look fairly old. It is very strange and it's quite big. So it's definitely a man or someone that wears a very, very big shoe. I'll just spin you around to show you it. Look at that. That's massive. My BK2 next to it. That looks like a toe as well. There's another impression up there, but this is serious.
Here's where it gets interesting. The print looks aged, beaten down by the storm, yet the shape of it, especially what seem to be toe impressions, points to someone moving through those woods completely barefoot, during a British storm no less. And if you've ever been on the receiving end of British weather, you'll know that's the last situation you'd want to find yourself in without footwear. He can't let it go, so he makes a call. He's going to mount one of his live trail cameras, the type that beams footage directly to his phone, right at that very spot, hoping to catch whoever or whatever left those prints behind.
It's all good. I've got the camera just sitting at the base of the tree. I'm going to strap it to this part of the tree here, and I'll be able to do a 360 all the way around to keep an eye on the tracks. We're left just there and there, going through this part of the woodland. Hopefully, if this is someone that's coming in here poaching or just plain messing around, this camera should hopefully catch them, and it'll catch them whether they take the camera with them. I'll have footage of it on my phone, straight directly to my phone, permitting the signal's all good. So we are live. We've got a blue light on there. So that's showing me that's got plenty of signal. If you don't mind now, I'm going to get out of here because I've just got a really bad feeling all of a sudden. I think it just might have sketched me out a little bit. I've actually found footprints as well now after all that time has passed. Nothing else has really happened. Right. That is definitely some sort of boot print.
From that moment on, anything passing through that area will fire a notification straight to his device, whether he's sitting at home, lying in bed, or sipping something cold on a beach in Spain. So he leaves it rolling and plays the waiting game. A few weeks pass, and he returns to the forest for an overnight wild camp. The camera has been quietly gathering footage the entire time, and he's ready to go through it. But that night, something happens that makes him seriously question whether staying out there was such a great idea.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear, but there's definitely someone out there. Fuck's sakes. 2 seconds. Hello? Seeing that the break of daylight was only an hour and a half away, I did decide to pack up and get going quite early. There was nothing more that happened that trip. I must admit I was more concerned that someone was walking around injured or out there hurt. So I did do a full sweep.
Now, plenty of you are probably already thinking it's just some animal, but consider this. There are no elk in the UK, no bears, no large predators roaming the countryside and producing sounds like that. So if it's not wildlife, then it's a human being. And if it's a human being, what exactly are they doing out there in the dead of night? When he finally pulls up the trail camera footage, things take an even stranger turn. 3 days after his campout, the camera snags something he absolutely was not expecting.
Came on the camera one night when I was sitting in bed. I had a notification, it pinged on. And then all there was this funny little orb looking thing up to the middle left hand side. I eventually ripped this off as some sort of bug that had come down. So let's fast forward 3 days post camp that you've just seen. Early Thursday morning at 4:12 AM, this figure comes into view. Almost looks like it's trying to pull something down from a branch above, acting in a peculiar manner. Then the camera takes a further 2 still shots of it moving further off to the left hand side of the woodland. So why is this person there at that time of the morning? Why do we keep hearing these shrills and shrieks?
And frankly, neither were we. The image is grainy, the figure sits far back in the frame, but it's undeniably there. Whether it's someone who got lost, someone with bad intentions, or something else altogether is anyone's guess. But one thing is beyond dispute, those woods are keeping a secret. Could it be a poacher? Someone living rough out there? A prankster with a thing for messing with trail cameras? Or just maybe he managed to film the legendary Bigfoot, though if that's the case, it's quite the holiday destination for the big fella. Drop your theories in the comments. Meet Frank, a creator you might already be familiar with from his YouTube channel Franco TV, where he brings his audience along on hair-raising journeys through some of the most haunting and disturbing locations imaginable. The kinds of places most people would never set foot in. Driven by a fearless attitude and an unquenchable hunger for answers about the paranormal, Frank ventures into these deeply unsettling spots, always chasing the secrets that exist somewhere between the world of the living and whatever lies beyond. In this particular video, Frank heads back to a graveyard that has carried a dark reputation for years. The locals will tell you that tortured spirits wander its grounds, unable to move on. Countless visitors over the years have described hearing disembodied voices and catching glimpses of dark figures drifting between the headstones. On top of that, the site is rumored to be a gathering point for mysterious rituals, widely believed to be satanic or demonic in nature. Because of all this, most people consider it a place you simply do not go after nightfall. For Frank, though, those very warnings are what draw him back in. He's set on spending the night there and getting to the bottom of whatever darkness lives within those walls. It's September 1st, 2024. Frank pulls up to the cemetery under cover of night, the only light coming from the faint glow of nearby street lamps. His previous visit had led him straight into a strange, unexpected ceremony, so this time around, his first priority is confirming he has the place to himself.
Whatever could be there tonight, because apparently this has been like a hot spot. It's a very famous witch that pretty much passed away, and people come to serve this area. And I want to see if they're even doing a ceremony now or tonight. Alright, so I have a candle. I'm gonna turn the camera around so you guys can see. I'm not going directly to it just yet because that looks like it was just lit. I think it is. Wait a second. I got more candles in here. Alright, before we go inside.
Candles aren't exactly out of place in a graveyard, but Frank's gut immediately tightens when he realizes these ones were lit recently. Not wanting to catch anyone off guard, or be caught off guard himself, he takes his time scanning every corner of the area before he even thinks about starting his investigation.
Somebody yelling. All right. I just got the sound of somebody yelling over here. We come from this side over here. See, that's what I'm afraid of, man. I mean, I'm not expecting this place to be empty at any means, but I got something in the back there. I just saw what looked like a light, slightly. What? Wait, you saw that? Right there. I knew it. This is where I heard the scream coming from. Shit. I can't stick myself out. I'm gonna stick the camera out. You see? What the hell are you doing? I'm gonna switch it to color. This is what I see. All black. See if they light another candle. That's one. The last time I was here, I saw like 7 people. Let me zoom out. In case I see somebody else.
The last time Frank was here, he'd walked right into a group of people dressed in identical robes, carrying out some kind of ritual. Tonight, it seemed like there was only one person present, or at least that's what he was telling himself. Still, he pushed forward, though a nagging unease refused to leave him. He couldn't stop thinking about what these strange figures were doing, or just how far they might be willing to go.
I'm nervous because I keep hearing people or movement coming from over here to the right. See? But I don't see anything. I'm gonna see if I can start staying a little bit more inside the tomb area. Just so that way I'm not so obvious. Because if I stand towards the main road, if they start passing by, oh God, they're gonna see me. So I am definitely hearing something, and I think I did something extremely stupid. I'm still trying to see if I can see any lights or candles or anything before I seen that person walking through here. And look right over there. I don't know if they see me, but I just saw something dark, and then they went right into the tomb. I'm gonna zoom in here. Look at the tomb. Look, you see it? There is something or someone inside that tomb right now. Kind of going in. They're just watching me, I think. I don't want to approach it because, one, I don't know what they're up to, and two, I don't know how many people are in there. But look, there's definitely... Oh, I lost light. Hold on. There we go. gonna keep the camera still. It's definitely moving. That is a head. I'm hoping it comes out a little bit more.
Frank had seen more than enough and decided to relocate to a different section of the cemetery, hoping a change of scenery might settle his nerves and keep him from crossing paths with whoever else was out there. What he didn't realize was that something even more disturbing was already waiting for him.
I want to see if I could get towards another area. So I am now approaching the area where I seen that kid. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you the clip here. What's the creepiest part is that this whole area in the back is known for children, that deceased children, the children that passed away. That's what this whole area is known for. So to see a kid running through there like nothing at that specific area to this graveyard kind of freaked me out. But to keep saying, I just have to be like logical and just kind of be like, okay, they could be a part of the group that was here. And that's kind of what I'm going with for now. Switching it back into a night vision, I guess.
Just ahead in the dark, a creeping sense of dread begins to wash over Frank. The memory of that strange encounter with the child still fresh in his mind, the oppressive atmosphere of the cemetery pressing down on him. Even so, he refuses to back down. He wants answers, and he's committed to capturing everything unfolding in this deeply strange and unsettling place.
And every time I have my camera off, I hear what sounds like a kid laughing. I want to see if you guys can hear it. Hold on. I don't even want to raise my voice. I want to see if it happens naturally. What is that? You see? You hear it? That is a kid laughing.
As though the tension wasn't already thick enough, the soft, distant sound of a child laughing cuts through the night and sends a cold shiver straight through him. Frank stops dead in his tracks, listening hard for anything else, but the sound vanishes as quickly as it came, swallowed up by nothing but the far-off murmur of city noise. After a moment, he steadies himself, pushes the feeling aside, and continues making his way carefully through the rows of tombstones. He has no idea what's still coming.
I really feel like I'm being watched right now, down this area. I'm gonna keep making my way forward and seeing what's on the other side. I hate this area. This area is by far the creepiest for me. Oh, what the? Just leaning up right there against the wall. I was not fucking expecting that. That scared the shit out of me. Holy shit. I'm probably not gonna go up that way. All black. I was wearing all black. That looked like a shadow. Oh, fuck, that scared the shit out of me. Hold on, let me get...
The sight left Frank genuinely shaken. The woman was completely motionless, slumped lifelessly against the wall of graves, showing no signs of awareness whatsoever. Rather than turning back, Frank chose to keep moving, aiming to find a calmer stretch of the cemetery on the other side. He had no way of knowing that choice was about to bring him face to face with something far worse.
Entrance right now, so if you hear people screaming, it's coming from way back over there. But what the hell is that? Banging's definitely coming from this area. It's starting to rain a lot now. Oh my God.
¿Qué haces acá?
Nada. ¿Qué tal? Hola.
¿Qué haces acá?
Nada, solamente mirando. Yo estoy mirando para fantasmas grabando.
Pero acá nadie puede entrar de noche.
Yo tiene permiso para una muchacha que me ayudas para entrar por aquí.
Sí, es peligroso, acá roban.
Sí, pero ¿qué tú estás haciendo aquí?
Yo estoy buscando a mi marido, no lo encuentro, está muerto, pero no está.
¿No está?
No está. Yo quisiera que tú me ayudes a buscarlo.
¿A quién? ¿A tu
A mi esposo.
tu esposo?
Ajá.
¿Dónde?
No lo encuentro.
¿Él está caminando por aquí o está...?
Está muerto, pero no está. No está.
No está.
Estoy buscándolo. Yo vivo acá.
Ya.
Vivo acá. Nadie puede entrar acá de noche. Es muy peligroso.
Ya.
Tienes que irte porque acá pasa una maldición para ti.
No, sí, no quiero problemas, nada de así. Bueno, ok. Bueno, yo voy a dejarte...
Vete, mejor vete, antes que te hagan algo.
Ya, no te preocupes.
Vete.
Ya está, gracias. Chao.
Vete, corre.
Sí, corre. Ya. What the fuck just happened? She's just staring at me. Yeah, no, solamente soy confundido. She's like, run, get out of here. What the fuck just fucking happened? Sí, ya, gracias. I am so confused for what the hell just happened right now. I don't know what just how happened. She just came out of nowhere and told me to get out. And that sounded like the same lady that I seen the last time, where she was like, Niño. I don't know, she said something last time. It sounded like the same lady, but she said she was looking for her husband, and that she didn't make any sense at all. I'm looking for my husband, but now he's not there. Did he just wander off? No, he's dead. And I'm like, so how are you looking for your husband? And it looked like she kind of got irritated or upset at me. And then she told me to help her find the husband, which I wasn't gonna do. Oh my God. I'm just trying to invest.
And she scared the absolute hell out of him. That was the final straw. Frank wasted no time getting out of there, rattled and bewildered by everything he just experienced. There was something profoundly wrong about the woman, about the robed figures, about the entire atmosphere of that place. Frank knew with certainty he wouldn't be going back. Disappointed that his investigation had been cut short, he was at least grateful to have walked away unharmed. But as he put the cemetery behind him, all those unanswered questions stayed with him, a lingering reminder of whatever might still be lurking out there in the dark. The truth remains just out of reach, and honestly, that might be exactly where it belongs. Western Nowhere is not a channel built for spectacle. It's slow, deliberate, almost like a meditation. Its creator, Oliver, isn't hunting ghost stories or chasing viral moments. He's not trying to convince you of anything supernatural. He's simply a man in pursuit of solitude, the kind of solitude most people romanticize until it's actually staring them in the face. His content is about total immersion, the kind that puts you in your place, that strips away your sense of scale. And in this particular episode, he went searching for the remains of an ancient hunting camp. The further he pushed into the wilderness, the more he began to notice something shifting within the stillness. The trees loomed overhead like silent elders, rooted and unreadable. Then, without warning, a knock rang out from somewhere in the woods.
I don't know if you could hear that, but this forest seems to be crumbling all around me. More than half of the trees are dead, and I keep thinking I'm hearing knocking or like an axe, someone splitting wood. And it's knocking behind me and knocking ahead of me. So it's almost like, where do you go where it's safe?
The sound seemed to migrate between the trunks, drifting around him in a loose orbit, never staying long enough to be pinpointed. Every knock sent its own echo cascading from tree to tree until it faded into nothing. The forest felt alive, but not in the familiar way nature tends to be. It was as though the whole place was suspended, waiting. At one point, the sound moved around him with what felt like intention. It wasn't the wind, he could sense the difference, like a heartbeat buried just beneath the atmosphere. Whatever was out there had a cadence, a deliberate rhythm. Then something else broke through, distant, almost human, a cry. A woman's voice, faint but impossible to dismiss.
Do you hear that? What is that singing sound? It's like coming in front of me and behind me. Is that the wind blowing through the trees? Oh, it's like 4 or 5 people wailing. Tell me you hear that. I hope my mic is picking that up.
His first instinct was to blame the wind funneling through the valley, but the tone was far too distinct, too raw with anguish. It rose, cracked, then dropped again. The kind of sound that seems to lower the temperature around you. Oliver's gut told him to walk away, but there was no one to be seen, no trace of anyone nearby. He tried to talk himself down, maybe elk, maybe air moving through hollow wood, but logic doesn't make the hair on your arms lie flat. He admitted he doesn't usually include moments like this in his uploads, not because they don't happen, but because they feel out of place in the wilderness he's trying to document. This time, though, felt different.
So I heard it right in here, and now it seems to be gone. It's almost like elk. I don't know if you've heard an elk call. I don't know what that was. For a second it was surrounding me. I don't know if this mic picked it up, but it was 50 yards, 25 yards ahead of me, and then behind me, and then out to my left and to my right. Honestly, it was windy, so I was thinking maybe it was like trees rubbing up on one another and creating this squealing sound. I don't know if I'm gonna include this in the video. My throat's really dry. Because I'm not one to kind of believe in the supernatural, but...
He pushed further into the mountains, following the coordinates to the lost camp. The sounds behind him never came back, but the quiet they left in their wake felt denser, more loaded than before. The remnants of the ancient hunters were rough but intentional, pressed into the terrain by people who had chosen isolation as a way of life, silence as a language. Every crumbling wall was a testament to humans who had always preferred the margins over the center. Then, near a rocky outcrop, something more recent surfaced. Skulls, a snare, proof that these woods had never truly been vacated. Predators still moved through here, some with 4 legs, some with 2.
Multiple skulls here. There's that one. And then there's this one. That one's bigger. two different species here. I don't know which is which. This one kind of has a ridge on it. This one doesn't. I don't know enough about them to know what animals these were. Is this one like a fox or a coyote with this ridge on top here? So is this like a mountain lion or even a small bear? Oh. Huh.
Shortly after, Oliver's dog Max ran into a patch of poison oak, which cut the trip short. But even as they turned to head back, he couldn't escape the feeling that something had been watching the whole time. He found what he'd come for: the ruins, the evidence of lives once lived on that mountain. But something unexpected came along with it. Those knocks, that cry, none of it ever showed a face or offered a reason. Only the uncomfortable realization that not every mystery the wilderness holds is one you're meant to unravel. Oliver walked away with more questions than answers, and maybe that's its own kind of wisdom, recognizing the moment to stop digging. So what do you think was lurking out there among those trees? The wind, some animal, or something else entirely? On May 21st, 2025, a video was uploaded to the channel Eleanor Grace Adventures, run by solo traveler and content creator Eleanor Grace, who films her quiet journeys through the UK. Eleanor usually seeks out the beauty in isolated places, but in this particular video, what begins as a peaceful wild swim at a secluded Dartmoor quarry gradually shifts into something far more unsettling. She opens by laying out her intentions.
Everyone, you're joining me on the way. Well, we already are on Dartmoor, but we're heading somewhere that I've never been to before, but I really wanted to check out this evening. I was really looking forward to a sunny evening with a potential sunset, and it's just gone incredibly grey. Perfect timing.
And that is how this happened.
We're off. Got my coffee. Where's my mic? Hang on. Okay. Shall I hold this? Shall I put this there? Who knows? Let's put it there. Beautiful grey evening in the middle of Dartmoor. I wanted to do an evening hike, and I was looking on my All Trails app for somewhere really nice on Dartmoor. I also wanted to check out the area I'm in for the possibility of doing a wild camp on a tour somewhere, because I've never actually done one like properly before in the actual wild. And Dartmoor, yeah, Dartmoor would be very interesting to say the least. Whilst I was checking out my All Trails app, I came across this place, and it's an old mining quarry, which is literally, now I'm not too sure if it's this one or there. Beautiful hike with old buildings and stuff like that. Getting a bit boggy, but worth it. She could have just avoided it, but no, she goes right through it. People have said that it's a very unusual and cool looking place to go for a wild swim. You know me, right? If there's a very weird or cool or beautiful place for me to take a dip, I'm gonna do it. I've brought the stuff with me in my backpack to do that. It is meant to start raining at some point this evening, so to be honest, if it does, even better. Oh, this is a very cute little stream. This is lovely.
A straightforward evening hike through Dartmoor National Park, driven by the hope of tracking down an abandoned quarry she'd spotted on her All Trails app. She'd been thinking about wild camping in the region, so this outing would double as a scouting trip and a chance to take a dip in what fellow adventurers online had called a strange but stunning swimming spot. The sky is grey and overcast, the evening hushed, with nothing but sheep and rugged moorland stretching out around her.
I don't want to get close to them because I don't want to scare them. She's got a little one with her. And you're just peering at me from behind that bush. Hello. This place is very Tomb Raider. I think that's why I like it. Yeah, I know you do too. It's all right. I don't want to get kicked in the face by a sheep. Oh. It's all right. It's okay. Hello. Yeah, this definitely looks quarry-like, doesn't it? I think we might be now.
After pushing through deep bogs and waterlogged trails, Eleanor eventually comes upon the quarry.
Oh, you have... You have got to be kidding me. What a hidden gem. Oh, bless him. Right, I'm just going to stand still and let him run. It's quite eerie, actually. Yeah, I don't... Hello? 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 Yeah, I don't think that there is anyone else here. Apart from the sheep.
Look.
I really do want to get in there.
I'm gonna go for it.
It's worth it. Forget something starts sucking on my leg. As gross as that sounds.
How cold are we talking?
It's not too bad. Gonna get over there. It's a little bit cold. It's not too bad though. There are a lot of tadpoles and everything around me and like little lizardy type things. I haven't seen any leeches yet. We're being joined by sheep. I'm gonna have to move my bags just in case they try.
Initially, it's breathtaking. The glassy water, enclosed by jagged stone and wild overgrowth, looks like it was lifted straight out of Tomb Raider. In spite of the eerie quiet, she decides to take the plunge, changing behind the rocks and carefully stepping into the freezing water. It doesn't take long before a creeping unease sets in. While out in the water,
Oh God. The rocks are quite high and jagged. It's not overly deep. So you've got to be careful where you're putting your legs really, or kicking your legs to swim. Oh, this is so nice though.
Loads and loads of like planes and military helicopters and stuff above me.
There's a really, really weird noise coming from up there. I don't know if someone's wild camping and pumping up something, because that's what I can hear. It sounds like that. Either that or it's extremely loud, heavy panting. God, I hope it's someone wild camping. Anyway, Dartmoor is like a military training base. They do a lot of training around here basically, so I had to check the times for when they were doing that. There's various areas on Dartmoor where you can wild camp, and this falls under one of the legal areas you can do it. Yeah, it was coming from up there. It is pretty eerie when you're on your own. Oh my God, oh God.
she starts picking up strange sounds drifting down from the ridge above. Rhythmic, mechanical, like something being pumped or hauled across stone. She can't quite pin down where it's coming from, and initially figures it could be a fellow wild camper nearby setting up their gear. But the noise keeps going. It comes and goes without any clear pattern, always at a distance, yet just audible enough to register. It sounds like labored breathing, or some kind of machine. Either way, it has no business echoing out of somewhere this remote. She pushes past the discomfort all the same. Lizards scatter through the undergrowth nearby, there's no visible sign of another person, and somehow that only deepens the atmosphere. She makes a joke to the camera about being watched from the tree line, the classic YouTube bit, right up until she realizes, while getting changed again behind a boulder, that the sound is still there, and it's closer than before. As the light fades, finding the way out becomes a real struggle. The boggy ground that brought her in now feels like it's working against her. Mud up to her thighs, dense reeds hiding the stream she'd crossed on the way, and every step feels like a gamble. She starts doubting her own memory of the route. The rocks are slippery, her boots completely soaked, and for a few genuine moments, she's lost, trying to piece together a path she hadn't thought to memorize coming in. She eventually makes it back to her car, parked along a wooded road near the edge of Dartmoor. The footage cuts to her later that same night, sitting in her dad's driveway. Even with the safety of home around her, She can't shake what she felt at the quarry. The following morning, she speaks openly about it. The place wasn't just eerie, it was oppressive. She describes a persistent sense of being watched the whole time, as though something unseen was following her movements from behind the ruins, between the rocks, or just beneath the surface of the water. At one point, she draws a comparison to another location she swore she'd never go back to, a place called Kennel Vale, which carries its own history of mining deaths and dark energy. Both Kennel Vale and this hidden Dartmoor quarry are former mining sites. Both are now silent and decaying, and both, she says, left her with exactly the same feeling. Dread. Not the theatrical kind you get from a haunted hotel or a staged ghost hunt, but something heavier. A suffocating sense of being surrounded by watching eyes, even when no one is there. Thankfully, she trusted that instinct and got herself out, because in moments like that, your gut is usually telling you something worth listening to. What's your take on what she experienced? You've probably been on a camping trip with friends, heard something rustling out in the trees, and convinced yourself it was just the breeze. Most people shrug it off and go back to sleep. This bloke picks up a stick and gets ready to fight. Here's what was waiting for him. Our second video comes from Shield's Viking Outdoors, a channel dedicated to wild camping, bushcraft, and convincing yourself you're totally fine with the dark. Spending a night solo in woodland with Bigfoot legends attached to it sounds like a terrible plan on paper. Spoiler, it's even worse in person. Let's get into it. It's June 4th, 2026, Watergate Forest Park, Gateshead, UK.
For Bigfoot sightings, like I went out with Kev a couple of days ago to an area that was supposedly had Bigfoot sightings, but this one definitely hasn't. It's been well documented. So hopefully, with us being here by myself, I don't stumble across Bigfoot, because I don't know what I'd do, guys. Like, it's just me. I've got no protection apart from a couple of sticks, and I am slightly scared, I will admit. I don't know what to do, but I need to do a camp. Like, I have to do a camp for my own peace of mind and just to get out and about. So yeah, you're just gonna have to hang fire and hope that I make it through the night. I'm looking around us, like, checking every single tree, checking for movement, checking for them knocks, them bangs. I haven't heard anything so far, but yeah, I think I'm just letting my mind play tricks on us and run away with myself a little bit. So I'm gonna relax and get the setup done. I'll talk you through the setup and what's happening. I've got a new tent as well from Nightcat, so we'll go into a little bit of detail about that. Well, have a couple more drinks.
Dusk feels completely different when you're out there on your own. The rustling kicks in, leaves shifting, twigs snapping, branches cracking, the sort of sounds that might be a deer or might be something that figured out how to walk on two legs. He stops dead, camera raised, eyes locked on the tree line, waiting for whatever calls this forest home to step forward.
Out. Nowadays, guys, if I hear one more knock, I'm just going to brave it and I'm just going to go and have a look. So I'm sick of this shit. Let's have a look.
Then another knock rolls in from the darkness. Solid, deliberate, wood-striking wood, way too clean to be something falling. He shouts hello into the void, which has never once worked out well for anyone in the history of this scenario. The forest doesn't respond.
I don't even know what direction it's coming from. No clue what direction it's coming from. See, the path is totally clear. Like, everywhere's clear. There's no houses around for ages. So I've got no idea. Should I call out? I'm gonna shout out. Hello!
It just knocks again. He heads into the undergrowth, regardless. Brave, reckless, honestly maybe a bit of both. Suddenly the bushes detonate, a shrieking figure launches out of the foliage, with arms going everywhere, total mayhem, and then the Bigfoot yanks its hood down. It's Big Ginger. 6 foot something of red hair and catastrophic decision making, who'd been hunched in those bushes for a full hour just to make his mate absolutely lose it, which he did, completely. The panic melts into laughter, that very specific kind that only shows up once the genuine terror has passed, and the relief floods in. Big Ginger surfaces clutching his wrecked trekking pole tent, clearly a victim of the ambush. They settle back around the fire, belly pork, baby potatoes, football opinions, travel tales, 2 mates sitting in the woods, like nothing went sideways 20 minutes ago. Personally, I'd have been long gone the moment that first wood knock landed. In this final clip, the YouTube channel The Thinking Woodsman headed out for a hunt in January 2017 on a piece of land where friction with anti-hunting neighbors had already reached a boiling point.
Walking that property line as nonchalantly as possible. Walking up and down and acting like she's looking around, and she's not doing a good job of convincing me that she's just out for a little hike. She's trying to...
Once settled into the woods, things appeared calm to begin with. That is, until one of the property owners showed up, strolling along the property line like it was the most natural thing in the world.
Response. Still on their property. Not very nice. Yeah, she's running her dog down there. Perfect. That guy's whistling as though that's just what he does.
The situation only escalated from there, as neighbors from the other side of the road got involved, congregating out in the street, laughing loudly and stirring up as much noise as they could.
Hunting neighbor friends over here gave it up. They ran their dog, whistled a bunch of show tunes, and just kind of made a racket. They knew we were here. They passed our vehicles on the way in. These are the same people that called the cops on my buddy last week. Nothing. And in a coordinated effort to ruin our hunt, the neighbors next door got together with the neighbors across the road to have a puppy party in the street. That's them laughing right now. Frustrating, disappointing, potentially illegal. It's illegal to interfere with someone else's hunt. The problem is they're on a street doing something that they might otherwise normally do. I know what they're doing, but
Our opening video tonight comes from Parafear, a paranormal investigation channel based in the UK and run by a guy named Josh, who also fronts an urban exploration channel called Get Lost with Josh. He's joined by his regular partner, Steph, and together they seek out locations tied to genuine crime and grim history, bringing spirit talkers, REM pods, and audio recorders along for the ride. A woodland where a murder victim's remains were once recovered from the earth. That's the kind of place these two willingly make their campsite. The footage speaks for itself, so let's get into it. July 21st, 2025. Closenog Forest, Wales.
a bit weird. It's just a little bit weird. Yeah. Oh, cobwebs. Lovely. Then he walks straight into a spider. You see how thick the woods is, mate.
I know.
I don't think this leads anywhere. Yeah. Do you know what's creeping me out a little bit?
What?
The fact that I'm hearing it talking, yeah? There is rumours of people hearing, like...
Next come the voices. Low, indistinct murmuring drifting from a section of the forest that appears completely deserted. No walkers, no flashlight beams cutting through the dark, just the sound of what resembles human conversation floating through an area where no one should be speaking.
There was genuinely footsteps. You know, it
could be an animal, but there was genuinely a footsteps.
Yeah. It did sound like footsteps, didn't it?
No, mate, that was footsteps. Like, it was like in the distance.
Yeah, like twigs, yeah. I am just going to apologise for the low light, guys.
Yeah.
In advance.
My light isn't very...
I got my torch and my panel light on max here, and it's...
I need to invest in new torches when I go off in the outdoors, you know.
The mood changes fast. A sharp, aggressive burst of wind rips through the tree line, and the spirit talker registers a spike of localized energy. Then a single word cuts through clearly. Joanna. Not interference, not a half-formed syllable, a full name delivered with the weight of a deliberate announcement. Then comes the scream.
That was a cough, yeah. Yeah.
If you're wondering why I'm doing this with the camera, guys, because I've got the torch in my hand here, just scouting around, make sure there's no one here.
That was a full-on cough, mate.
Was it?
Yeah.
We don't even know how this guy died, mate.
No, there's no...
What's his cause of death, mate?
No.
I don't think forensics could get it, mate. That was my ring piece, mate, don't worry.
I know it was.
Even the spirit talker's dead, mate. Do you know what I think we should do? I think we should go back to camp, get the devices out, and then lay them out. Because it's so hard to pick up sounds in the forest, mate.
Yeah, especially in the forest,
Yeah.
like...
So...
Because it could be, like, what we can hear is wildlife. You know, a rabbit could make that noise. You know, we could get more evidence through proper devices. Mate, something...
What?
Come on, come on. What? Mate, I just seen something go through that woods then.
Go through the woods?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Come back.
Why?
Mate, I just got the light.
Well, you have just mentioned wildlife, mate, so bear that in mind.
Oh, mate, that was...
Long drawn out, absolutely chilling, rolling up from the lower clearing, the precise spot where the victim's body was originally discovered. The sound lingers well past the point it should have dissolved into the night. They do their best to stay composed as the campfire pops and hisses. Josh turns his attention to the REM pods and cat balls, walking through how to use the equipment for whatever presence might be paying attention. The investigation closes on an open question as they position the spirit box for a live session in complete darkness. Footsteps without origin, a name bleeding out of static, a cough from unoccupied air, a scream rising from the exact ground where this forest history turns its most sinister. Close-Enob didn't hold anything back. Our first unsettling story features a video captured by Jonathan, a familiar face you may know from his YouTube channel, Happy Hippie Wild Living. Jonathan has built a reputation for his upbeat, lighthearted personality and his seemingly fearless outlook on life. He carries a genuine passion for the outdoors and off-grid living. And over the past 2+ years, he's kept audiences hooked with everything from camping trips to abandoned location explorations and plenty in between. But this particular outing took a sharp and frightening detour. It unfolded on January 3rd, 2024, when Jonathan headed out solo into the wilderness for yet another one of his lone expeditions. True to his usual style, he never sleeps in the same spot twice, and on this occasion his destination was a small remote hut tucked deep into the bush. What he didn't realize was that this modest little shelter was hiding something deeply unsettling behind its walls.
435 of me living out in nature, and it's the new year, so I thought I'd do a nice long video instead of the little short minute ones I've been doing recently. Today I'm going to go find a bovie around this area somewhere. It'll be the 3rd time I've stayed in a bovie.
As Jonathan checks in with his audience, walking them through his plans for the day, the mood feels completely relaxed and routine. Despite the cold, wet winter conditions, his energy is infectious and his excitement is obvious. He pushes through the quiet, rain-soaked bushland, fully in his element.
I'm going to is called the White Lagan, I believe, and it's by Loch D, and I've got a bit of wood with me just in case there's no dry stuff there, so I can have a fire with ease. Not seen a single person on this hike yet, but that's how most of my days go in the winter. I like that I get to do this in the winter mostly, and then the summer job I'm just at one place, so I miss all the crowds when I'm out in nature. There's my home in the distance. Let me zoom in. It's got the nice Scottish flag on it. Let's go see what it looks like. I've had people say I'm brave and ballsy for living this lifestyle, but there's nothing brave about it when it's doing something you love, so I don't agree with that. I do agree with doing things you're passionate about in life. You only live once. Life goes by pretty fucking quick. So.
The second Jonathan lays eyes on the little structure, his face lights up. He strides toward it with a grin, completely oblivious to whatever darkness was already waiting for him on the other side of that door.
Unaware of the darkness that awaited him inside.
Well, I've made it to my home for the night and it looks beautiful. Oh, nice bunk beds.
A quick sweep of the interior confirmed the place was empty, which meant Jonathan would most likely have the whole hut to himself for the night. He got his gear sorted, arranged his sleeping setup, and started winding down, right up until a family happened to pass by outside.
They come in, but they've drove it. I didn't even know you could drive on this road. And just had that family come in, and they said they'd just been to a different bobby nearby, and they were just searching around for another one. So they're just gonna have a little walk somewhere, and they said.
Jonathan had a short conversation with them. They weren't certain whether they'd be bunking down in the hut as well, but they didn't rule it out entirely. As darkness began to creep in, Jonathan headed inside, got dinner going, and finished setting up for the night.
Bed for the night. Gonna get the fire on when it gets darker. There's normally loads of candles around, but they've all been burnt out. Finish off the haggis, and of course, putting in my favourite, cayenne pepper. And as always, top it off with a little mustard. And there we have dinner fit for a little hippie.
For a while, everything felt calm and perfectly normal. He even got a fire going, giving the little hut a genuinely cozy atmosphere before turning in for the night. And then the first signs that something was off began to surface.
Probably be me for most of the night now. I'll just get my music on, enjoy this beautiful fire, and then get back outside tomorrow in my hammock. I got one of them water filter straws, and it comes with 2 little bags as well, so you can attach the straw to that. But I've not got to use. Maybe this is the guests. There was no one there. I don't know if that's just people fucking with me or something. I don't know if that's something they do. But I don't think it would be that family if it was just a dad and his daughter and son.
Noises started drifting in from outside, strange, deliberate sounding ones, almost as though something was toying with him. Every time he went to investigate, there was absolutely nothing there. Jonathan tried to shake it off, but the sounds kept coming back, slowly grinding his nerves down.
Came on the door again, and then I went out, but there was no one there, so I don't know what's going on. I've not heard of any haunted bobbies or anything. I've never had weird shit. Fuck's sake. Just wanted a nice little bobby night. If you've watched all my videos before, you know I don't do shit like this.
Rattled and on edge, Jonathan retreated to his sleeping area, lying there with his eyes wide, scanning every dark corner of the room. A creeping sensation washed over him, the distinct feeling of being watched through the windows, but every time he peered outside, the darkness revealed nothing.
Walking around into the room, and then I go in there, and it just stops. Maybe I just put my music on really loud and forget about it. Cameraman never dies, right? So it's been about an hour and a half since I last made a video, and I've just been doing what I said. I've had my music on loud, I've listened to Blink, some drum and bass, some reggae, and I'm doing what I came here to do, and that's have a good fucking night. So I'm enjoying my time by this fire, and have an amazing day tomorrow, back out in nature.
In an effort to settle his nerves, Jonathan signed off with his viewers, threw on some music, and let the atmosphere gradually soften around him. He made the call to just go to sleep, and fortunately the remainder of the night passed without incident. Come morning,
experience last night. Not really sure what was going on. Thought it was just people knocking the door and running away that were camping nearby, but it didn't seem like that when I went outside. Couldn't really explain what was happening next door with the noises, but I'm not really a believer in ghosts myself. It was a bit creepy, but I'm more of an alien guy. But if you are into ghosts and all that paranormal stuff, these are not the videos for you, because this is not what I do, this is not what I'm about. I'm just a happy hippie, hiking, living in nature, loving the world. I never have anything like this happen to me, so hopefully it's just a one-off and everything.
Jonathan reflected on everything that had happened the night before. He tried to rationalize it, and while he stopped short of blaming anything supernatural, a thorough check of the surrounding area turned up zero evidence that anyone had been lurking outside. So what exactly was responsible for those sounds? That question never got a satisfying answer. Jonathan moved on with his adventures, though he made one thing very clear. He had no intention of ever going back to that hut. His night out there stands as a quiet but chilling reminder that deep enough in the wilderness, the solitude you think you have might just be an illusion. But what if it's not the unseen you encounter, but something far more? In April 2025, a YouTuber known as Cursed Urban ventured deep into a woodland that the surrounding community refers to as the Forest of the Broken Neck, a location with a dark and recurring history of fatalities, each one sharing the same disturbing detail: broken necks. Witnesses in the area have also reported encounters with a towering creature somewhere between 8 and 9 feet tall, covered in fur, with a canine-like face and legs that appear to bend in the wrong direction. He made camp in an open clearing on the eastern shore of the lake, the precise stretch of land tied to every single reported incident. The area was so notorious that a former campground there had been permanently closed down long before his visit. Almost from the moment he arrived, the forest began making itself known. Eerie hissing sounds crept out from the surrounding tree line.
This area right here, this area, I keep hearing a noise. It sounds like a hissing noise, like, not hissing, but if something was to expel like a lot of air stored up all at once. I heard it like 2 or 3 times coming from this area right here. I have no idea what it could be. Very weird though. It's like that, like almost like if you detach a hose from an air compressor tank, but like the air coming out way slowly, like.
Then came a pair of glowing eyes staring back at him from the edge of the trees, hovering roughly 7 feet above the ground.
I just saw some glowing eyes. When I looked over here, I just saw some glowing eyes in the distance. Like right in that area. They were about... Where's my other light with the laser on it? They were about yay high. Back in that tree back here. I mean, definitely could be a raccoon climbing the tree, maybe a deer.
Shortly after, a scream rang out, sharp and undeniable, echoing from somewhere further down the trail.
Right of that skinny tree, I just saw something looking at me. Far down the trail though.
Can't breathe.
Can't breathe. Did this area used to be a campground? Got bugs trying to crawl up my nose right now. Call? Oh, no way. No.
But none of that was the worst of it. When he pulled out a spirit communication app and started using it, responses began coming through. Names, broken fragments of words, and then something came through that stopped him cold. At that moment...
Could you tell me about, about a creature that lives in this forest. A tall creature that lives in this forest that has attacked people. That doesn't like people here. Could you tell me anything about that? Emery. Am I alone here? Or is there something with me? Okay, yeah, I'll take that as I'm not alone. What in the was that, dude? I'll think Jeffrey was invoked.
He felt it, an intense pressure bearing down on both his chest and his back simultaneously, as though enormous hands were crushing him from both sides, squeezing the air right out of him.
That's weird. There's no birds out this time of night. I just heard 4 whistles. You probably heard it. There's no birds out this time of night at all. What was that? But anyway, so as I was standing there, it felt like somebody came up to me with their hands, okay? Like, what I can only explain is like oversized hands, like this, and then I'm between them, and it's pushing. I just felt this pressure like on my chest and on my back, like if somebody was like this and like pushing it together. Like I couldn't breathe. I was taking like that. And I don't know. Like I shut off the app, and when I shut it off, it felt like I was released. Like as soon as I hit like that power off button, it felt like everything was fine. I don't know what it is about this place, but it really feels like something truly sinister lives in this forest. That's what it feels like. Yeah, it feels like something bad is here with me. That's never happened before, where it's like, it felt like I was like in a vice, and like the pressure was just getting.
The second he switched the app off, it stopped. He retreated to his tent and tried to convince himself he could make it through the night. Then it came back, an unseen force pressing down on his chest with its full weight, holding him flat against the ground. He grabbed his gear and bolted, with the sounds of something moving through the dark woods, closing in around him on all sides.
Something running around. What is it? I'm hearing stuff everywhere now. What is that? But there's nothing good here. This is definitely a forest that is 110% evil.
Whatever inhabits that forest made one thing absolutely clear: his presence was not welcome. While out for a run along a remote woodland trail, one man came across something that stopped him dead in his tracks. Just a few feet off the path, he discovered a stone slab with a torn photograph of a young girl fixed to its surface. Someone had punched a hole clean through the center of the girl's forehead. A few people figured it could be some kind of makeshift memorial, maybe placed at the spot where someone lost their life on a hike. Others went somewhere far darker with it, raising the possibility that the girl herself might be buried underneath that rock. Whatever the explanation, the remote location, the seemingly recent photo, and the sheer weight of that slab combined to create a deeply unsettling scene. This clip was so unsettling that he almost kept it to himself entirely. They were 5 days into the Alberta Rockies, just him, his partner, and the grandchildren. The kind of trip built around making memories, nothing more. He packed a trail cam mostly out of routine, not expectation. Something to flip through with the kids afterward. Maybe a fox, maybe a deer, nosing around the vehicles after dark. But that morning, when he pulled up the footage, something didn't sit right. There it was. Between the jeeps, just after midnight, a figure. Upright, walking, not in a hurry, not stumbling around, just moving through. Except the proportions were off. Shoulders too narrow, limbs stretched too long. It moved the way a person moves, but it didn't carry itself like any person should. No flashlight, no pack, no business being out there. And then it stopped. For a full 5 seconds, it stood between the tents, not facing the camera, but facing the camp. Facing them, then it drifted out of frame. He hadn't heard a single thing that night. The grandkids slept right through it, but standing there alone with that playback in the morning, he felt something he hadn't experienced in decades of overlanding. A deep, quiet need to get out. He didn't bring it up immediately, just told everyone the ground was waterlogged, the rain wasn't going to ease up, they should cut the trip short. They packed quickly. No breakfast, no trail activities. Just gone. He buried the clip at the tail end of his video, after all the regular content. No lead up, no commentary, just silence, as if part of him still hadn't made up his mind about what he'd seen. And the comments? Divided. Some people called it a hiker. Some chalked it up to camera distortion. Others weren't buying either explanation. But what's your take on this? The third clip tonight comes from Pitched Up, a British outdoor channel centered around two friends doing no-frills, unscripted camping trips. They crack open beers, cook simple food, take on the unpredictable nature of English woodland, and always make sure they leave the place exactly as they found it. Nights in the forest with these two typically mean jokes and stories from the night before. This time, it turned into something else entirely. See for yourself what unfolded.
We had to wait for a space.
They kill time during the busier daylight hours as the sun begins to sink. The car park had been rammed when they pulled in, the kind of woodland that empties out once darkness arrives. Deceptively ordinary. Just two guys, a few drinks, and the night slowly swallowing everything around them.
Just get over it. Just embrace it. Something in the woods just laughed at you. Yeah, there you go. He's holding his breath.
He did a look.
Rob tries every trick he can think of to shake the hiccups while Tom keeps the camera rolling. The unease left behind by the mimicking hangs over the whole scene. Rob's frustration starts to show. That particular kind of irritation that comes from feeling like something out there is mocking you, something you can't see and can't do anything about. The back and forth between them loses its humor and starts sounding more like deflection.
There's some really loud bangs going on. Sounds like fireworks, yeah. They are big bangs, aren't they? Yeah. Can you hear these bangs? Because all of the big towns, bonfires around here have happened already. It's not a bonfire night, mate. There you go.
That is a loud bang, bro.
They settle back and around the fire. Then another enormous, isolated bang, close range this time, right at the tree line. It shuts the conversation down completely, and neither of them manages to pick it back up for a beat. Whatever's been out there with them isn't done yet. Sounds being thrown back from the dark, massive percussive thuds, rattling through the woods at random intervals. Two lads leaning on their drinks considerably more than they'd planned. Somehow, they make it to morning. Tents get pitched properly, nothing gets left behind. But daylight brings its own punishment. A brutal hangover, Rob wrecked and freezing, the gears segment quietly abandoned. They break camp quickly and head back to the real world. Honestly, if that had been me, I'd have walked at the first sound that came back at me. But that's exactly what makes these two different. They hold their ground when every instinct is screaming otherwise. The forest clearly knew they were there, and they stayed in it anyway. You've probably pulled into a rest stop at some point and not given it a second thought. Somewhere to get out of the car, eat something, then carry on. Most people never wander into the trees nearby. Most people never have those trees respond. So what exactly was going on out there? Chris Beard and a group of friends set up camp deep in a dark stretch of woodland, pulling out a spirit box to hunt for the paranormal. But whatever they were expecting to find, it wasn't what actually showed up. A mysterious vehicle crept toward their campsite, its lights cutting through the trees and aimed directly at them. Then came the sounds, sharp, thunderous cracks splitting the night air. The three of them didn't hesitate for a second. They snatched up whatever they could carry and bolted. What had started as a ghost hunting trip had suddenly become a desperate scramble to get out alive. To this day, nobody knows who was behind that wheel, or what their intentions were. Some mysteries refuse to give up their answers, and this one has never stopped haunting him.